Guys, the instructions show to lay this down when assembling. Don't do it. One extra acorn nut. Got a Phillips drive. Don't think you need the Allen. The wrench fits the wheel. Install the widest and deepest shelf first. Now spin the tube to line up the hole. Start your first screw, bolt, whatever you want to call it. Lift your pan up and line up that hole. Get something to raise this back area. Now, get a nut started. Just snug it up for now. Do the same to the other side. This thing's tricky. If you don't hold it together, it'll fall apart like a house of cards. And then squeeze the unit together to have enough room to get the nut on the other side. Snug it up. Small side of the wrench fits the acorn. And then something small like this would be great for this project versus that Allen screwdriver. You could use a big screwdriver, but this is so much nicer. Hold your wrench, crank it on. Snugged up, and then you can crank it tighter with the wrench. Next, this shelf is a little deeper than this one and a little wider. So this one goes on next, and then that one. Repeat what you did down here. An easy way of doing this: line the holes up and pre-install the screws. Just so they protrude, don't go all the way through. Lift your shelf into place. Line up the screws and push them in. And while you're holding it, install a nut on this side, and whatever one you can get a nut on this side. That'll hold everything in place. Do the other two. Top shelf. Show the wheels. Wheels. This threads into here. Thread it all the way in. Set the card on the floor if it's off level. make adjustments, then crank down this locking nut. There's also a nut behind this nut, which this wrench fits. That's so you can crank the wheel in behind that nut. Here's an easier way. Grab the outside of the caster and spin it in. So you can just spin it in. And make sure your nut's all the way back so you can bottom out for the initial leveling. Start there, do all four. If it's level, you're good. If not, back this out or a couple out to where you need it and then lock this nut down. And it won't move. Now, of course, when this was manufactured, it was set up for a level surface. And I do believe the table would be level. And there's no wobble. It's beautiful. So, measurements from the table or the floor, you got 31 inches. Top shelf 11 and a half. Almost 12 inches. The wheelbase 14. Total width 19 and a half. Let's go give it a roll test. Here's a little mock-up. Few items. This is a kitchen drawer utensil tray. Second shelf, another kitchen tray. Variety of items. Little yellow pointer pointing at me. Next shelf, two different size drywall screws. Light. See what you're doing? So here's an idea of the height. It's about bedside height. It's not real high. I'd like to get me a taller one. Another nice feature, let's say you're replacing all the outlets throughout the house. Instead of sitting on the floor, get yourself a little stool. Roll this to each location. Have all your parts you need to replace the outlets. And then, of course, for the home decor, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hope this has helped someone.